The first thing Daniel noticed about the town was how quiet it was. Not peaceful quiet, watchful quiet. The kind where curtains moved when you walked by and conversations stopped when you entered a diner. Still, the house was cheap, the yard was big, and Daniel figured a fresh start in a small town might be exactly what he needed. By July, the heat settled over the place like a wet blanket. That afternoon, Daniel and his neighbor Hank were building a wooden shed in the backyard. Sweat ran down their necks as they hammered boards together. Hank was a heavy-set man with sunburned skin and a permanent squint from years of staring into the sun. "Town ain't used to new people," Hank said, wiping his forehead with a rag. "But folks will warm up." Daniel laughed. "I hope so." That's when he heard it, a faint melody drifting through the air. Daniel froze. "You hear that?" he asked. Hank kept hammering. "Hear what?" "The ice cream truck." The music floated closer, old, cheerful, the kind every kid recognized. Hank slowly stopped hammering. "You're joking." Daniel stood up and walked toward the front yard. Down the street rolled a bright white ice cream truck. The paint looked oddly faded, like it had baked in the sun for decades. On top of it sat a giant plastic ice cream cone. Along the side were big red letters. Sir Frosty kids weren't chasing it. In fact, the street was completely empty, but Daniel shrugged it off. Maybe the town just didn't care about ice cream trucks. The truck stopped in front of his house with a creaky hiss. The serving window slid open. Inside stood a thin man wearing a spotless white uniform and cap. His face was pale and stiff. His smile stretched a little too wide. "What'll it be?" the man asked. His voice sounded dry, like leaves rubbing together. Daniel glanced at the menu. "I'll take a chocolate cone." The man slowly turned and reached into the freezer. For a moment, Daniel noticed something strange. The inside of the truck looked old, not retro, rotting, rust along the freezer edges, dark stains near the floor. But the man returned and handed him a perfectly swirled chocolate cone. "That'll be $1. Daniel handed him the money. The man's fingers were ice cold. "Enjoy," he said. Then the window slammed shut. The truck rolled away. The music started again. Daniel walked back to the yard licking the ice cream. Hank looked up from the lumber. "Where'd you get that?" Daniel pointed toward the street. "The truck." Hank frowned. "What truck?" "The ice cream truck. Big cone on top. Said Sir Frosty on the side." Hank went completely still. The color drained from his face. Slowly, very slowly, he stood up. "You're messing with me," Daniel laughed. "No, it just drove down the road." Hank's eyes widened in horror. His voice came out as a whisper. "That truck hasn't been around in 10 years. Daniel stopped licking the cone. "What?" Hank looked toward the empty road like he expected something to come back. 10 years ago, people started dying in this town. Kids, parents, old folks. At first, doctors said food poisoning, then sickness, then nobody knew. He swallowed hard, but every single one of them had something in common. Daniel looked down at the cone in his hand. They all bought ice cream from Sir Frosty. The air suddenly felt colder despite the blazing sun. "What happened to the driver?" Daniel asked. Hank's jaw tightened. The town found out he'd been poisoning people for years. Slow poison, hard to trace. One night, the whole town showed up. Hank stared straight at Daniel. They dragged him out of that truck. No police, no trial, just rage. Daniel felt his stomach turn. "What did they do?" Hank's voice was barely audible. "They killed him." Silence hung over the yard. Then Hank looked down at the melting ice cream in Daniel's hand. Chocolate dripped slowly onto the grass. Hank whispered, "But they also burned the truck." Daniel turned slowly toward the street. The road was empty. No tire tracks, no sound, no music. Hank's eyes were wide. "Daniel!" Daniel looked back. Hank pointed at the cone. "Did you actually eat that?" Daniel looked down. The chocolate ice cream had started turning gray. And from deep inside the cone, something small moved. Thank you for the support. Every view, every comment, every subscriber keeps this channel alive. Stay locked in and subscribe to Quick Creepy Tales, Because once you step into these stories, they don't always let you leave. See you in the dark.